Hibiscus by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. The novel Purple Hibiscus is set in post-colonial Nigeria. During this time, there was a lot of tension within the Nigerian government. An article on the book describes the plot of the book. A country beset by political instability and economic difficulties. Within the first few chapters of the book, the issues of the corrupt government involved. One day, as the family is all sitting down for breakfast, Papa reads in the newspaper that the military has taken over the government. The military reasons that the current Nigeria system of allowing politicians to be elected into office is causing the country to fall into an economic turmoil. The family is extremely upset with the military taking over Nigeria's government. They feel their rights of freedom are being taken away. The whole country of Nigeria is affected by the military coups controlling the government. Another main aspect of the Nigerian culture is religion. Nigeria once existed of a large number of ethnic groups that practiced different religions. Eventually, the two religions of Islam and Christianity overpowered the country. Islam mainly dominates the northern part of Nigeria, and Christianity is most prevalent in the southern parts of Nigeria. One of the main ethnic groups that settled in southeastern Nigeria were the Igbos. Most Igbo families, including Kambili's, practice Catholicism. In the book, Kambili's father is one of the most devoted Catholic worshippers of their congregation. He expects his family to be just as devoted as he is. The book starts out with Papa angrily questioning his son Jaja as to why he did not attend communion that Sunday. This is just the start of Papa's punishment on his kids for not following the exact rules of the religion. Later on, the reader learns that Papa does not associate with his father anymore because he is not a firm believer in Christianity. Along with his strict beliefs in religion, Papa also values education. He expects his children to study for hours on end and allows them little free time. When Kambili fails to exceed her father's expectations of coming in first in their class, he does not hesitate to show his disappointment with her. Through these incidents, it becomes clear that Papa is the head of the household and what he says is law. Adichie established herself to be a well-known and accomplished writer of African literature. Adichie was born in Nigeria to successful parents. Her father was Nigeria's first professor of statistics and later became Deputy Vice-Chancellor of the university. Her parents' success encouraged Adichie to pursue a college education. After high school, she went on to study at the University of Nigeria, where both of her parents were currently working. Adichie's passion for writing is explained on her website. There she states, "I didn't ever consciously decide to pursue writing. I've been writing since I was old enough to spell, and just sitting down and writing made me feel incredibly fulfilled." Since the publishing of Purple Hibiscus in 2003, Adichie has written other successful books that revolve around the theme of Nigerian Civil War. A few of her major works include Half of the Yellow Sun and Things Around Your Neck. While the author was born into a well-off family, she still had to work extremely hard for all of her accomplishments. One of her major feats was the scholarship she earned to attend a college in the United States. Through all of her hard work, she has been able to earn many awards, such as the Orange Broad Bong Prize for Fiction in 2007 and the MacArthur Foundation Fellowship in 2008. Currently, Adichie plans to continue pursuing her passion of writing with more novels on the Nigerian culture. Kambili is clearly seen as a vulnerable and kind character to the reader. She is eager to please her father and well-liked by her brother and mother. At school, Kambili's classmates see her completely differently. She is always concerned about pleasing her papa and never socializes with classmates. She even chooses to sit by herself at lunch to study. Through Kimberly, the reader sees how the pressures put on a teen at home can affect them socially. Eugene, or Papa, is seen in two very different ways. To an outsider, we see how harsh and cruel of a man he can be. However, to villagers who only see his kind and giving side, they view him as the man they idealize to be. Papa is constantly giving money and food to villagers who are less fortunate than him. At the same time, he does not have the decency to visit his own father and give him money to live above poverty. And while he is hardworking at business and a successfully factory man, he is angry and tempered husband and father by night. One of the first major conflicts arises when the Nigerian government is taken over by the military. Kimberly's father explains that this happens because the country's current form of democracy was not working, and the economy was headed for disaster. Even though elected politicians were not successfully leading Nigeria, many people, including Papa, think that having the military take over will lead to even more problems. He says, "It takes away the Nigerian citizens' right of choosing their leaders." Within time, Papa's prediction proves to be correct, and problems begin to arise all over the place. His editor, Aide Choker, is taken into custody by the soldiers for being part of Papa's newspaper, called The Standard. The Standard writes about the corruptness of the coup. Kimberly's father tries to distract himself from all the government problems arising in Nigeria by focusing his attention on his children. Throughout the book, he puts a great amount of pressure on his children to succeed in school. His high expectations of them to be first in their class eventually cause him to be disappointed. When Kimberly comes second to another girl in their class, he is furious. He does not physically abuse her for this poor performance, but he does embarrass her in front of her classmates. He comes to her school and asks her to show him the girl who beat her. When Kimberly does this, he pulls out a mirror and asks her how many more heads the girl has than her. This incident does nothing but make her resent her father even more for not allowing her to be a normal teenager, like the rest of her classmates. This incident is just one of the many that Kimberly and her brother feel threatened to do well in school so that they will not be punished. After this incident comes Christmas break. The family travels to Aba to visit Papa's father and sister. During a family dinner one night, Papa's sister, Auntie Infoma, offers to have Kimberly and Jaja come stay with her and their cousins for the remainder of break. After much pleading by Auntie Infoma, Papa finally allows his children to go stay with her. But both Kimberly and Jaja are more than thrilled and cannot wait to have the freedom from their strict life at home. However, as soon as they arrive, tension grows between Kimberly and her cousin Amika. A week into their visit, the kids get a call from home from their mother. She tells them that soldiers have destroyed their father's company and his assistant has been taken into custody once again. She assures them that Papa is safe and he will give them a call in a few days. When Papa finally calls, he tells the children that he is fine. However, he also asks them to stay at Auntie Infoma's for a few more days. Kimberly and Jaja know everything is not fine. As if the bad news of Papa's company being destroyed is not enough, they also receive the news that their grandpa is sick. Everyone wants to go back to Aba to visit him, expecting that he will not live for much longer, but Auntie Infoma does not have enough money for gas. Back at home, Kimberly and Jaja's mom grows sick of her husband's cruelty and decides to poison him. Jaja takes the blame for his mother's crime and is sent to prison. As if things could not get bad enough, Auntie Infoma is fired from her job. This forces her and her children to move to America. Ends 3 years later, after all of these horrific events have been described. Jaja is almost released from prison, and Kimberly has grown into a more confident and youthful young woman. Things are finally starting to look brighter for the family. Right from the start of the book, the wealth of Kimberly's family is extremely prevalent. Her father, Eugene, is the owner of the town's newspaper. This high-paying job allows the family to have one of the most extravagant homes in Nigeria. Along with a nice home, the family experiences full-course meals prepared by their maid on a daily basis. Another luxury that sets the family apart from the average Nigerian household is that they have access to a TV and radio. Even though Kimberly and her family have luxuries that others do not, they are unable to enjoy them because of Eugene's strict scheduling. Kimberly explains how her father divides her and her brother's time up. Papa liked order. It showed even in the schedules themselves, separating study from siesta, siesta from family time from eating, eating from prayer, prayer from sleep. When we're on vacation, we had a little more family time, and a little more time to read newspapers, play chess or Monopoly, and listen to the radio. This strict structuring by Eugene forces his children to give up activities that make them happy. Essentially, both he and his family cannot enjoy all that Eugene has worked for, his nice house, car, and family vacations, because the schedule allows no time to relax and have fun. Across town, Annie and Foma lives with her 3 children. Although they do not have the nice things and high status of her brother's family, they somehow appear happier than them. When Kimberly and Jaja are allowed to go visit their aunt and cousins for 2 weeks, they see how differently Annie and Foma's house is from their own. Kimberly describes her first impression of her aunt's house. I noticed the ceilings first, how low it was. I felt as that I could reach out and touch it. It was so unlike home, where the high ceilings gave our rooms an airy stillness. As their stay continues, more of the differences between her lifestyle and back home and that of Auntie and Foma's come out. One day, on a drive to see the university Annie and Foma works at, the car breaks down. Kimberly and Jaja has never had to deal with car problems. They both cannot help but notice how calm their auntie stays, and as she laughs at how junky of a car she drives. This laid-back attitude of Auntie and Foma is taken in most every problem she encounters. By the end of the trip, both children do not want to leave. Kimberly describes the warmth of her aunt's house. Laughter always rang out in Auntie and Foma's house, and no matter where the laughter came from, it bounced around all the walls, all the rooms. The laid-back and cheerful approach their aunt brings to her everyday life shows them they do not need a huge home or extravagant meals to be happy. Adichie chose to title her first novel Purple Hibiscus in order to symbolize different key aspects of the book. The hibiscus bushes are one of Nigeria's most beautiful flowers. Most commonly seen are white and red hibiscus flowers. Before traveling to America, Adichie did not even know a purple hibiscus was even real. Therefore, the uniqueness of the color purple and the beauty of the flower itself come together to symbolize the paradox of the Nigerian family. This significant passage describes when Kimberly and Jaja go to visit their grandpa. Papa was sitting on a low stool on the veranda, bowls of food on a raffia mat before him. He rose as we came in. A wrapper was slung across his body and tied behind his neck. Over one white singlet, now browned by age and yellowed low at the armpits. "Nikki, Nikki, Nikki, Kimberly and Jaja have come to greet their old father," he said. Although he was stooped with age, it was easy to see how tall he had once been. He shook Jaja's hand and hugged me. I pressed myself into him just a moment longer, gently holding my breath because of the strong, unpleasant smell of cassava that clung to him. "Come and eat," he said, gesturing to the raffia mat. The enamel bowls contained flaky fufu and watery soup, bare fit chunks of fish or meat. It was custom to ask, but Papa expected us to say no. His eyes twinkled with mischief. This passage describes the power Kimberly and Jaja's father has over them. On a simple visit to see their grandfather, they are expected to follow the rules of their father has told them to. Since Eugene has no respect for his father, mainly because he is not Catholic, he wants little to do with him. Still, he allows his children to visit him once a year for the short period of 15 minutes. Through the visit, Kimberly notices how poor her grandfather is, and he barely has enough food. His clothes are battered in dirt. She cannot help but wonder why her father does not give him money. This is one of the first times both children question the morals of their father. Overall, I'd recommend this book to any high school student interested in learning about the Nigerian culture. It is an intense and gripping read and will keep your attention the whole time.